What's something you don't think you'll ever do again in your life? Trust the electric company to trim the oak trees in my front yard. They chopped down 2 mature trees and left the firewood in a giant pile in the driveway as a favor. UCKU Duke, Progress Energy UCKU. Hopefully, chemo. In remission for 3 years now, still going strong. Edit. Thank you for all the love heart. Lining up early in the day at a concert with general admission tickets so I can get to the front row. Then never leaving that spot for the entire concert so I can hold my spot while the main act performs. Get married. I lost my husband to cancer 7 years ago when he was 48 and I was 45. I can't imagine ever loving someone that much again. Feed my dog puppuccinos at Starbucks, his farts in the car after we're death. Cocaine edit. I have not done it for over 30 years. I washooked for a couple years in Florida when it was everywhere and dirt cheap in the 1980s. The thought of it now nauseates me. Hopefully, drink alcohol 6 years sober. Ride a roller coaster. Y'all take care of your back, because when it goes, your life choices are reduced. Pick up and snuggle the kids. They're grown now with kids of their own. Skydive. Biggest rush but once is enough. Heroin. Been sober since November 17, 2018 and my life is better than it's ever been. Salvia divinorum. That hit is ucking wild. I went places on that drug. Then whatever was dwelling in the space I traveled to kick me the UCK out. Don't have to tell me twice. Say, yes, when my gut is telling me, no. What's the worst physical pain you ever felt? Obsessed tooth. But wait, let me finish. Obsessed tooth after the dentist removed the wrong tooth, the one next to the obsessed tooth, on the way home when the local wore off. Edit. By far my most popular comment over, AMN, thanks. So, a lot of people asking about lawsuits. Unfortunately, that was not an option. This was a low income state-sponsored thing that the dentists volunteered for, and part of getting them to volunteer was a no-liability thing. Plus at the time I kind of figured I'd probably explained which tooth wrong rather than him just pulling the wrongoni. I'm guessing I probably could have held the state liable, but at the time I was much younger and not very savvy, so I never pursued it. I've noted a couple of people say that kidney stones are more painful than obsessed teeth. Now I've had kidney stones, and I'm guessing you didn't let me finish cheeky smiley face. Also, obsessed teeth can vary in pain intensity, as can kidney stones. Anyways, I can't keep up with all the replies to save my life, but I appreciate the discussion from everyone. Kidney stones and it's not close edit. Hijacking my own comment because people are asking about prevention. Drink more water than you do now. Just hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Pilonidal cyst, right on your tailbone, from snowboarding and then having to sit on a 4-hour flight. Doesn't sound like much, but if you've hedone, sitting upright was hell. Gout. I thought lovingly about removing my foot with a hacksaw. Ovarian torsion from a giant cyst. Worse than a broken neck in childbirth. ETA. The broken neck was from a car accident at 17. I snapped 2 of the spines that anchor your shoulder muscles off the back of my vertebrae. Not paralyzed, just incredible pain and a long healing process. Hockey puck at 80 kilometers per hour versus my right testicle, resulting in a testicular rupture and a surgery 2 days later and didn't lose it either. Opened up a pressure cooker while it was still on the stove back in the 90s. 40% of skin surface burned and my heart is now hit on a stick. Testicular torsion. I was 17 and didn't know what it was, thought it might be blue alls, so waited until it was the size of a grapefruit and in excruciating pain and had mom take me to the ER. Half my testicle was dead but I got a Demerol drip and all was good after that. But oh boy, that pain was significantly worse than the kidney stones. Edit. Wow, didn't realize there were so many members of the Twisted Nut Club. Like I said, mine happened at 17 and wasn't addressed until day 3. At that point I couldn't sit down or drive due to the massive nut that was preventing me from closing my legs. Anyhow, much of the tissue, organ, was not savable so the surgeon had to remove a fair amount. Now, I've got some testicle left and also a whole bunch off scar tissue. It's gross and I had low sperm count for a while, but now I've got 2 kids so man shrugging good thing is when they opened me up the doc said lasso, the other testicle, my right one in this case, to the side so it wouldn't face the same fate as the dead left nut. But guess what? 2 years later I woke up one morning and felt a familiar pain. I was boarding a plane that morning but I knew WTF was going on so I called ahead and had it operated on later that day. I probably should have sued the original surgeon for testicular negligence but I never pursued it. Years later, about 10 years ago now, my wife and I headed down the coast so I could race a 50K in slow. Woke up what I thought were butterflies and went through the whole process. Ended up barfing and passing out and my wife drove me, gingerly but still painfully, to the ER where they looked at me and said, Will, he's either in labor or he has a kidney stone. Yep, a hefty 3mm stone lodged in my ureter. That shit was painful, but still nothing compared to the twisted nut. Edit 2 typus. What things were you told growing up that were just plain lies? I need to behave in school because I have a permanent record. Lol, no. That moths were the ghosts of butterflies. Cheers for that one, Dad. I always thought adults were geniuses that knew everything. I once asked my dad how waves at the beach were made. He said, whales. I believed that for years. Next year they're going to be a lot harder on you about this. And, the rules only get more strict. Heard that at the end of every year in elementary school, but by high school the rules are much less strict. My math teacher telling me I wouldn't always have a calculator in my pocket. My nana would say, "You're getting so tall." Whenever she saw me, "I'm 5 feet 1 inch. Are you making fun of me, Nana?" Is that what's happening here? Bad people, criminals never win. Cracking your knuckles is bad for you. We are almost there, during a long car journey. Only people who work hard get ahead in life. How did you almost die? Cancer stage 4. Given less than a month. That was 10 years ago. A meth overdose. I was 22, deep in the midst of addiction, hadn't eaten for 2 weeks or drank anything for days. I was somewhat forced to shoot up. During this time I was an addict. The person supplying me was an abusive ex. He told me if I didn't shoot up I wasn't allowed to use anymore, so I did. He did it for me, chose how much, stuck my arm, and he immediately blanked out. I don't remember much of that day other than honestly believing it was the end and I was going to die. I quit using after that and moved away from him and have been clean from it since. Next month makes 8 years clean. Edit. Wow. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I love you all and I am trying to answer all questions in regard to what happened and about this experience. Thankfully I am off work and it's a Friday. My fiance has a friend over and I am trying to answer all questions, serious and silly alike, and I am so grateful for all of you asking questions and giving support. I'm in tears right now. This never felt like something I would be speaking about anonymous yet openly about or anything I would be able to help someone with. So please don't hesitate to ask questions. I will respond when I can. If it matters, I'm sitting in my garage right now reading and responding, and I do feel as if any and all prayers I've ever prayed had been answered. I'm willing to give any answer, advice, support, suggestions that are needed. You all rock, red heart. Cancer. Ucked it off twice now. Got lost in the Bolivian rainforest for 3 days after consuming tea made from angel trumpets. Got locked in the boot of the car for about an ordering in Australian summer. I don't remember what I did, if anything, to make my mum punish me like that. I was 8 years old. T-boned by a cement truck. Guy at the tow yard couldn't believe I was still alive. Cancer. Lost my legs though. A few weeks ago I was walking home from the grocery store late at night and noticed a homeless guy across the street looking a bit off. I wasn't sure if he was high or having mental issues or just entertaining himself. He started to cross the street diagonally towards me and had one hand stuffed in his jacket. I felt a bit uneasy about the situation, so I phoned a family member, picked up my pace, and kept looking at him to check where he was in relation to me. When my mom picked up the phone, I spoke a bit louder than usual and told Harry was walking home down ABC Street. I didn't say anything about the guy, I just asked her about her day, but I wanted to be on the line with someone just in case. After a few seconds, he turned and stopped following me. Less than 12 hours later, less than 2 blocks away, someone was stabbed and nearly killed. When I saw the face of the alleged perp on the news, it was the same guy who had been following me down the street. I was pretty unnerved the day I saw that. If I were less aware of my surroundings or less trusting of my gut, who knows if it would have been me he stabbed. Deleted. Caught an incredibly rare fungus that attacked my lungs and would have attacked my other internal organs. Took 2 years to diagnose because it's sorare. Only patient my respirologist has ever seen with it. Dropped to almost 80 pounds. I could literally feel myself slowly dying. People who don't drink alcohol, why? Long family history of people dealing and failing to control their alcohol addiction. So the best way to make sure this won't happen to me is to avoid it as much as possible. I am always scared to not feel well, and I don't like the feeling of not being able to control my thoughts very clearly. Why should I drink? Wastes money. Causes headaches and beer belly. Makes people unsafe drivers. I've seen how I ruined my boyfriend's life before he died. Hard liquor every night, started to see dependence setting in and stopped enjoying it, and started to interfere with work. Final straw was when I went to the hospital for severe withdrawal symptoms. I'm about 3 weeks in, not a drop, going to rehab for a month in a couple days for a month. Wish med lessons. I don't like anything about it. Tastes awful, hate the feeling of being buzzed, drunk, despise hangovers. 'Cause I'm sober. For 20 years. I'm a 47-year-old alcoholic with 4 years sobriety. People normalize drinking way too much. It has never appealed to me. Because I'm allergic. Breakout in handcuffs, misdemeanors, and felonies. Yeah, no. Edit. Thank you for all the responses, they were great and I did not expect it to blow up. In all seriousness, I've lived that life and let me just say that it's not a life worth living. At 20 years old and 3 DUIs, life questioned me, to which I had no answer. On May 13, 2011, I decided to break the vicious cycle of alcoholism that has cursed my family for generations and has taken so many of their lives. I thank God every day that my daughters have no earthly idea what it's like to grow up in a house with an alcoholic. Sobriety is the strength of the soul, for it preserves its reason unclouded by passion. Pythagoras.